Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is arguably one of the most controversial games on the market right now. From its rocky launch to its lackluster story, Rocksteady's most recent AAA title is having a hard time convincing players if its game is worth it. Now, this is a quick disclaimer. At the time of this video, I have not completed the game, and I only have a few hours of playtime into the story. However, I do have plans to fully review the game once I have completed it in its entirety. I'm not here to bash this game, and since this is an initial impressions video, I feel it's only right to avoid stumbling upon the hate train and bashing the game just for views. So I'm going to be highlighting some of the positives and negatives that I've encountered so far while playing. First and foremost, I want to analyze this game for what it is, and that's fun.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And I feel that's a difficult word to use when reviewing games because gamers today hate to consider that a game can be fun if it's trendy to hate the game. Some people will like this game and some people won't, and I think that's completely fine. Gaming is not black and white. You do not need to play a Game of the Year nominee to have fun on a video game. At the end of the day, take what everyone's opinion is with a grain of salt because that's exactly what it is, an opinion.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
It's all subjective. But now that that's out of the way, let's get into what I dislike about this game. Coming into Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, I had very low expectations, and I mean low. So playing through this game did not surprise me when I encountered a lack of significance to the story, tiresome waves of enemies, routine missions, and glitches that left me annoyed when playing. Much like this moment where there were 2 King Sharks and Deadshot was unplayable for my co-op squad. You see it too, right?
I do, and Deadshot's still unavailable. It just has King Shark.
Sometimes there were even moments where Rain and I would be playing co-op and we would lose connection to the server, which wouldn't be too annoying if it didn't happen midway through a cinematic cutscene. Which meant we had to reconnect and decide to either skip the entire cutscene or waste our time and watch it all over again just so we wouldn't miss out on any of the story's dialogue. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is your typical looter shooter, which is why I'm not going to be too hard on this game because I don't typically expect much out of looter shooters. What made this game miss the ball is the lack of emphasis that was placed in its gameplay. Besides the traversal system, Rocksteady didn't implicate much in this game that set it apart from your typical looter shooter. My main problem with the gameplay is everyone pretty much plays the same. You can tell the developers got lazy when it came to the combat system because everyone shoots guns in this game, which made sense for Harley and Deadshot, but not so much with characters like King Shark and Captain Boomerang. Besides the way the characters traverse throughout the map, there is nothing setting them apart. Maybe this will be addressed with additional characters that are implicated through future battle passes, but I highly doubt it. Mobs in this game keep the pace repetitive and hold the story back to its full potential. There isn't really any relevance to any of the missions you complete. How this cycle goes is, well, pretty much Amanda Waller gives you a task. You accept that task because you have no choice. You play a mission which revolves around you defeating waves of the same aliens in the same scene as the previous mission. You complete the task and a cutscene is prompted, which leads into a great cinematic cutscene, which is where you develop and learn more of the story. The missions are filler, nothing more, nothing less. They give you something to do in order to prolong the playtime of the game. What I would have liked to see is the relevance of the story to its respective mission. Each mission is pretty much the same, and the lack of creativity is what places this game in its typical looter shooter category. But just because I pointed out some negatives doesn't mean that there isn't a lot to enjoy, which brings me into what I like about this game. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League surprised me. Like I mentioned earlier, I am not a looter shooter fan. I was one of the few players, and I mean few, who disliked Remnant 2 in its mid-2023 launch, because the game did very little to draw me in and keep my focus. Plus, the main objectives of Remnant 2 were difficult to keep track of, and most of the time I just felt confused and lost. This game immediately drew me in. From the moment I launched the tutorial and felt the traversal style of each of the 4 base characters, I knew I would have fun with this game. Another aspect of this game that I liked was its amazing cinematics and cutscenes. The dialogue throughout the game is quirky and unique only to the Suicide Squad. Each character adds to the dynamic of the team and makes this game enjoyable, and I've already had a few laughs playing it. To me, this game has a great mix of silly moments and seriousness to its storytelling. I touched on it briefly, but I cannot express how much I appreciate the dedication placed on the traversal system for each character. Although the combat system is underwhelming to each character, one thing Rocksteady nailed was the focus put into each character's movement system. The game made me feel free to roam. It's actually very satisfying to move throughout the map, and my favorite so far has been playing with Captain Boomerang. His momentum is fluid, and sometimes I've been so immersed into his movement system that I find myself just running to and from enemies without even shooting at them. Speaking of shooting, even though I mentioned the flaws of the combat system, I like the simplicity with this game's weapon system. There aren't an overwhelming amount of weapons to choose from for each character, but there are quite a few weapon tiers that drastically increase your damage output. And acquiring these higher tiers isn't the easiest. So far, you have to unlock them by chance, and you'll see your reward at the end of each mission. This gives the players an incentive to return to the game and provides a motivation to grind for higher tiers and upgradable mods for your kit. I'm still only a few chapters into the story, and I've already unlocked an epic tier shotgun that is basically a one-shot kill against most of the enemy mobs that I face, which helps me because it allows you to kill more enemies, which increases your overall score and boosts your chance of reaping good loot. Weapons and mods aren't the only thing you can unlock in this game though. There are a variety of cosmetics that can be acquired by completing challenges provided by the Riddler throughout the game. Of course, most, if not all, cosmetics can be unlocked by purchasing them outright with your hard-earned money, but I like that the game added other opportunities to flex your drip. To conclude this video and my initial impressions of the game, I like it. Is it the best game I've played? No. Does it implicate anything that's groundbreaking? No. But what it does offer is a fun playstyle that I could see myself playing for some time, until I'm not. So the real question is this game worth paying $70 for? And my answer is maybe. And that maybe depends on a few factors. One factor being is if this game will have longevity with its service being online. Another being if the game can consistently keep up with interesting content to keep its player base engaged. Two factors that I just don't realistically see happening. From what I've played so far, I can easily say that this game can be worth the full price if you're one of the few players who can see yourself playing this game for its longevity, if there even is one. On the other hand, for the majority of us, I'd say that this game is not worth the full price, and I'd recommend picking up the game on its first big sale. And something tells me that it won't be long until we see one. This game is a live service game, which means that the developers plan to update the game for some time with battle passes and added content with each season. If this game survives, I could only support paying full price if the content is engaging enough to the player base, providing us with enough content that keeps us wanting to come back. So no, I don't recommend picking up the game at full price, at least in its current state, which I know is not going to change. Wait a little longer, pick it up during a sale, and put the extra few bucks into other games releasing this year. Now, if you've made it this far into the video, I just want to say thank you. This is my first video, so any comments of improvements or what you would like to see me cover next is strongly encouraged. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like, comment, and of course, subscribe. And if you're feeling even more interested in me, and I don't know why, then you should join my Discord that's posted in the links below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.